Lagos is working, and of course, Lagos is progressing thanks to Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Let's now bring you recent engagements of Mr. Governor from the governor's office. The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was recently presented the membership certificate of the Odua Group Investment, presented by the chairman, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, during a courtesy visit by the board members to the governor. In his reaction to the progress report on the giant strides of the group by the chairman, Mr. Governor commended the group for the various investment initiatives to position the group.
Given the fact that we now have other states coming out of the Western region, it just makes a lot of sense that Lagos also is part of it. And we're indeed happy that we've made that investment and we're part of a brighter and a bigger agenda called the Odua investment. I want to thank you and commend you for that. Secondly, is to also thank the vibrancy and the bright new ideas the current management and board has brought to board. In the last 2.5, 3 years that I'm aware of, we've seen fresh ideas, we've seen new frontiers, we've seen new levels of businesses that have been recreated. You've gone into areas that are hitherto considered areas that they've never seen. And they've done very, very well. And like you said, being awarded, a marginal field license, I think it's a very first. And I want to commend and thank the board and management for those great initiatives. The governors gave a no objection right away because indeed we feel there's a strong investment opportunity in which Odua can play there. We congratulate you and we believe that you will utilize the license very, very well. And like you also have said, there are new areas, there are new frontiers in which you have bathed, the Swago, which my namesake is here as the first managing director, is born out of a sheer passion to ensure that we also can, feed ourselves. We can grow what we eat and we can eat what we grow. And so as a conglomerate of states, as Odua investment, we can indeed utilize the skills that are bound in various states to be able to create, an agricultural, strong company that can help out, with agricultural solutions in our country. And I want to commend, you also for that. We're still expecting a lot more that Swago can do, for us.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has pledged to ensure a mutually benefiting relationship with the American government and economy during a courtesy visit by the United States Consul General, Mr. William Stephen, and his team to the governor's office. Mr. Governor pointed out areas of possible collaboration and cooperation.
The relationship that the government has with your office, it's great, it's phenomenal. But beyond that, it's really about our people. It's really about ensuring that we can use our opportunity, to better the lives of our citizens, our businesses, in both jurisdictions and in both countries. And you said it, over the last couple of months in Lagos alone, we've seen direct investment from big American companies, that have seen, the need for them not just to verbalize that the future is in Africa, but the future is actually in Lagos, and they've begun to take those steps. Right, and we know that indeed this is where the huge number of youth population, the opportunity, that is there in tech, in financial services, in entertainment, in tourism, this is where it's sort of like come together. So I'm excited. Our office we believe we'll be working closely with your office. We will be creating, success on both sides, and we'll be building a mutually beneficial, relationship.
The Ohaneze Indigbo Political Forum, Lagos State Branch, led by its president, Solomon Ogbonna Agwene, and his members were full of praises of Governor Sanwo-Olu's personality and government for the purposeful leadership and achievements in Lagos State, with the promise to support the APC presidential flag bearer and the governor's second-term bid come 2023. The governor will receive the group at his Marina office, thank them for their unflinching support of his government and party. He also used the occasion to notify them of significant infrastructural developments in the state that will be of great benefit to the Igbo community in Lagos State.
It's really not politics. Yes, at the end of the day, it's politics. But it's really about people. And when you sit back and look, the question you ask yourself is, who has our best interest at heart? Who has, over the years, have created opportunity without detribalizing ourselves? Who has given us that platform, that genuine platform for us to be able to thrive and live and work well? And that's why I cannot continue to thank you less. This government not only is your government, is our government. There is no part of this state that one form of development is happening or the other. If you go to Ikorodu, we're developing 4, 5, 6 major roads concurrently. As we're finishing 1, 2, 3 others they've not even finished Agri-Kishawa. We're on Chekomade. We've not finished that. We're at Ekwe-Elete. We've not finished that. We're at Igbobo, Bayeku. If you go to Ojo, which is where a lot of people are from, which is where my chairman also is from, right? The Buba Marwa Road is being completed very soon. The Navy Town Road is being completed very soon. We're moving to Kemberi, Okokomaiko Road is going on. We're going to start Old Ojo Road is going on. We're building a big hospital right across by the cantonment. We've paid more money on Lagos Badagry Express Road than any of my predecessors have done. So you can see, we're not detribalized. We're not saying that no, this is no. I will continue to push it everywhere, in all nooks and crannies of the state. My brother, Mr. Speaker, and I are competing how many things we need to do in Surulere. You can see all the inner roads in Surulere. I grew up in Surulere, so I know everywhere there. And I said to him, I give him all the blessings. Go to this area, go to from Anjorin to Olatilewa to Olufemi. You go right down to, We're moving from there, we're going to Itire Road. We're turning a right, we're going to, you see it. We're going to Agulejika, we're coming to Jeshatedo. If you go to Ajao today now, we're doing Choruge. These are places where, our people are. Shodi Solo, we've started one road there, to one long road, I cannot remember that one. So that is how we see purposeful development.
Also, as part of the governor's scheduled engagements, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, took time out to attend a reception aboard a U.S.-commissioned Coast Guard ship in Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu recently swore in 7 new cabinet members into the State Executive Council. Mr. Governor will reiterate the proactive and dynamic functional capacity of the State Executive Council, charged the new members to bring their wealth of experience to bear for the development of the state.
Today, I have a singular pleasure and honor swearing new cabinet members of special advisor rank, whose first set of 2 that voluntarily retired to pursue political ambition. As a government, we take seamless continuity very, very important as we strive to deliver our electoral promises and agenda to the good people of Lagos State. And there's no doubt that they are returning is because of the great work they were doing for the people of Lagos State. Congratulations. Let me therefore welcome new incoming members. I must point out that the 5 of you that have just been sworn in have had the privilege of this appointment. I want to heartily welcome you to a very, very, very vibrant, energetic, resourceful, dynamic, ever forward-looking, diverse, inclusive team of the Cabinet of Lagos State. Indeed, we pride ourselves as one of the best in the country. And we know that the Lagos State Cabinet is one of the most diverse because inclusiveness, ensuring that We do not discriminate against gender, tribe, or whatever. We're a set of people that are committed to ensuring that the Greater Lagos agenda is achieved in our time. And so you are among a small and privileged class of people whose ideas and decisions will go a long way towards impacting the life of millions of Lagosians on a daily basis.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, recently conducted an inspection tour of the ongoing construction of the Lagos State Industrial Leather Hub project in Maturi, Mushin. The governor, at the end of the inspection, addressing the media, explained the aims and objectives of the Industrial Leather Hub project.
We are here at Maturi Industrial Estate, Mushin, local government. This site, which is called the Lagos State Leather Hub Facility. This is a project that we conceived about a year and a half ago. And you can see it's a hub. It's a leather hub where we want two things, right? Have a production line where people can be trained in all forms of leather products in general, from shoes to leather bags to belt, everything that has to do with tannery and leather. More like training grounds. Up on this floor, on the second floor, they have plans to be able to take about 100 students at once, where each one of them will have a small machine where they can learn from, and thereafter they can go into the hub factory itself if they have orders, and people that are into leather manufacturing already, they don't need to travel out of the country to make all of their leather finished products. So we also have an opportunity for shop, about 42 or so lock-up shops that will be here selling leather-related accessories and leather-related goods, so that we can partner with other leather markets that are around Mushin here. And this place can indeed be a hub for them. They don't need to begin to crack their head on how they need to have equipment on an individual basis before they can get to their finished products. This hub will be available for them, for their use, and it's not only for one person, it will be for the entire ecosystem of leather work and leather accessories. And so I'm told that we're at about 60-65% level of completion. The contractor has committed to a December deadline, but we'll give him 1 or 2 months grace, because we're expecting the equipment to start arriving from October, right? And so we should also be able to complete this before the end of our first tenure of government in this administration.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has challenged the Guild of Editors to embrace the new order with respect to the revolutionary trend in digitalization and the fast-paced technological ecospace, which is a key fundamental aspect of his themes agenda, which borders on education and technology. The governor expatiated on this strategic area at the recently held Guild of Editors workshop in Lagos with the theme Journalism and Digitalization, the Imperative of Good Corporate Governance.
Looking through the themes of the event you'll be having today and tomorrow speaks to the conscience of the reality of where we find ourselves. Digitalization has come to stay. We need to be able to realize that things have changed and have changed very, very fast. Gone are the days where we believe that it's only in the era of Mr. Motorshow, it's only when you sit in the newsroom that things will happen to you. A lot of the time, news are being broken at event venue, at functions, and you that are waiting in the room, sometimes, you just need to do further follow-up. And so, like the president said, it's something that we need to be able to speak to. But the question is, how well are we regulating that space? How well are we taking the issues around corporate governance very, very seriously? How well are we ensuring that indeed what we are set up as professionals, as journalists, to protect, and to give the citizens an independent view, how well are we doing that, for ourselves? And I think, there's no better time than now for all of us to take it up, for all of you to see it as a new order that you can indeed learn and embrace, the realities of the time. As a government, what are we doing to also promote that industry, right? Under our team's agenda, the first E there is education and technology. And we realize and will appreciate that technology is a strong cardinal deliverable for our citizens now. And so what have we done, or what are we doing? We've actually just almost completed the first phase of the 3,000 kilometer fiber optics, connectivity duct that we'll have in Lagos. So at the beginning of next year, we hope to start the phase 2, which will be another 3,000 kilometers of fiber optics. So what that is doing is that we're bringing internet connectivity and infrastructure closer to the citizens, closer to businesses, closer to houses where schools, hospitals, and public offices are. And we're doing it with deliberate intentions, working with the private sector. Sitting down with the big telcos and ask, what is your growth plan? And we ensure that this digital infrastructure go to where they see, their growth planning. So it's not just we sitting down, it's really working with them, sitting, looking at their map and saying, this is where you want to go in the city. And to ensure that, and because that's what you see, one person will come, dig the roads and create their own right of way. But what we have been able to do is that we've gotten all of them to co-share, in the duct infrastructure. So each duct has over 6, lines which, so they don't touch each other. Everybody can lay their ducts, and we're beginning to see a more regulated, order.
In his ongoing inspection tour of strategic infrastructural projects in the city of Lagos, the Lagos State Governor inspected the timber sawmiller site at Agboa Ikosi Ejiri at Ikosi Ejiri LCDA recently in Lagos. The governor, in his address to media men, gave an update on the significant purpose of the project site.
This project was conceived quite a while back. Been on for a very long time. But we're happy that within our own government, we've activated it back, and we've spent a lot of money, resource, to be able to bring it to a usable and a convenient situation. So what you have here is, first, there must be an access route from the main road up until this site, which is about 3 kilometers. And so we should be finishing that road construction very soon. But even in the alternative, we've done an alternative road for them, which is where, and part of the facilities that are here is 4 sawmillers that are coming here. We've got a total of 160 2-bedroom flats that have been completed, offices that runs into tents. You can see all of them, and they have all of their various shades that have been also built. What is remaining is for us to clear a trailer park for them, for us to clear what we call a boom area, and for us to be able to put a police post and small fire service here. And the other thing that we also have in this facility that has been built is a briquette facility, which will be managed by Loma, which will mean that the byproducts coming out from the mill, from the sawdust, will be treated here, so nothing will be wasted.
In furtherance of his administration's determination to build a solid, functional road transport system, the Lagos State Governor paid a courtesy visit to GAC Motor Nigeria, which is one of the very strategic partners of the Lagos State government in the area of road transportation in Lagos. The governor and his team were guided through the various facilities of the motor factory situated at Ojota, Lagos. The Lagos State Governor was in attendance of the recently held 15th Community of Practice meeting, proudly organized by the Federal Ministry of Finance and the National Planning in collaboration with the Lagos State Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, with the theme Sustainable Economic Growth and Development. The governor, in his remark, analyzed the benefiting factor in ensuring adequate planning and budgeting to actualize expected economic success.
Why do we see, or why do we think the ministry or the agency or the office that you represent, why do we think it's very, very important? There's always this saying that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Meaning that our ability of not being able to fairly predetermine what kind of expectations we want to derive as a government, then we'll probably just be walking in the dark. If we cannot discipline ourselves as government
to say that these are the promises or these are the effect of our interactions with our citizens, to say this is what should be the plan. And you've rolled out a plan. From a political perspective, from an economic perspective, you've rolled out a plan. I think the least you can do is to try and see how you discipline yourself to work with that plan. Because it's only by working with it that you can indeed, at the end of the day, fairly assess yourself if you have done well and what are the areas in which you can correct. And in fact, even while still planning, yes, it is not a rigid process. It's not a rigid procedure. You can indeed still have adjustment, but the bottom line is that each time that you think that something significant has changed, go back and replan and retool it, but make sure that it can indeed, fairly budget for it, and you can discipline, yourself for that.
In order to monitor, verify, and ascertain the level of progress made so far in diverse areas of infrastructural projects in the state, the governor of Lagos State and his team conducted an extensive inspection tour of various projects across the state. Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, gave highlights of the various projects inspected and the position of the projects themselves.
We started the journey today with on-the-spot assessment of ongoing complete reconstruction of Tapa, Okepopo, and Adeniji-Adele roads in Lagos Island. Messrs. Julius Berger, the contractor on site, did mention to us that the project is about 60-65% and that they are on track to see if they can complete the project before the end of the year. We've seen some part of it. Interlocking stones have been laid, the drainages have largely been completed, and the whole area looks new. Thereafter, we went to inspect the construction at the new Mercy Children's Hospital, where we noticed the two buildings that are meant to be coming up. 9-story car park by Messrs. Dory had started. They're on the 3rd floor. However, the main hospital construction for the Mercy Children's Hospital, all the 547 caps, piling caps have been completed, and the contractor too has moved to site. So that's the 10-story new children's hospital that is coming up. And they've assured us that they will work even doubly hard to keep up with the terms of the project. Thereafter, we cross over to Ilubiri pumping site. This is the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Drainage project. And we're able to observe and see that where we have the current temporary wall, and you could see pumping going on. This retention wall is to prevent the backflow of water from the Lagos Lagoon flowing back into the Lagos Island. That's why you saw those pumping stations there. So if they don't do that barricade at high tide, water will just naturally be flowing back from the lagoon, because like we've said before, significant part of Lagos is below the sea level. So when the water rises from the ocean, from the lagoon, it can flow back into the city. That's why you see the pumping. But the main observation today is that we're constructing a new 1 kilometer or 1.2 kilometer diversion from in front of the Ilubiri housing estate that will take, a bigger body of water onto the Lagos Lagoon. And that one, we're expecting 3 high-capacity pumps that I'm told will be arriving next month. So the bed for the drainage is what we saw, and the construction is ongoing to be able to receive, the main pumps when they do arrive. So what that means is that issues around flooding and drainage issues can be completely resolved on Lagos Island. Because once that outfall has been completed, we can now go back into some part of Lagos Island. The Ojogiwa collector, the Thomas collector, and we can go and redo them properly so that we know that at the other end, there's something to receive them, right? And finally, we're here at the Lagos Island General Hospital, Odon, which is the foremost general hospital in the state. This is a secondary health facility, and the hospital is as old as Lagos itself, and I'm sure you can see. But so what we're doing, and it's also the hospital that has, after last week, is one that has the largest number of patients coming in. And you can see from the last 3 years, we've been doing different phases of extensive renovation in the hospital because it cannot be closed down. The hospital in itself cannot be closed down completely. So we need to, be very creative in how we measure, the renovation. I think the first phase was the accident emergency, the surgical emergency, the awards, and the training room, including the one that the foundation did for us, which will be a medical tourism. That's the first phase. The second phase is the pharmacy, the catering, and some other parts. I think one we're watching now is the third phase, which has the high clinic, the admin building, the ambulance bay, the patients waiting area, and some of the wards, children's ward, surgical, male, female. And they are going to another phase, which will be the fourth phase, which will now be to take the final set of wards. Even in this last phase, pathology department is there. And so there's still going to be a few demolition that will happen in here, right? And to be able to receive, additional patients. This building here is doctors' quarters. We're happy that the doctors are there and it's being run very well, and we have a maintenance, company that ensures that all the doctors, some of them are here, some are in the other hospitals, in Lagos. And just to also mention that new hospitals that we're building, we're trying to also infuse with doctors' quarters, right? We're building one in General Hospital Bagada. We're also building another one in General Hospital Isolo. To be able to accommodate, give residence to our doctors and some of our other health practitioners.
And finally, from the governor's office, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has yet again kept to his promise on the ongoing Blue Rail line with the final beam launch of the Blue Rail project at Marina. The governor described the launch as to have two historic importance in the history of transportation development in the rail system in the city of Lagos.
Today, history also is being made again, because each of our promises, each of the things we had committed to Lagosians, this administration will continue to meet those deadlines. And so today, like has been said by the managing director, is historic for two reasons. One, the fact that we are launching the final T-beam for this infrastructure signposts our commitment that we will meet and we will deliver the Blue Line on schedule and on time for our citizens. Secondly, it also signposts that this is the end for people that have been wanting. This is the end of the parking infrastructure for the Blue Line. And you can see that today, CCCC had also kept their words with us. And we said that before the end of August, we want to see the completion of these T-beams. Today completes a total of 1,967 PAL foundation, completed 306 platforms, but completed 310 piers on this project. We have completed 267 overbeams. And we have now one more to complete 984 T-beams. I think Lagos State and CCCC deserves another round of applause.
And that's the picture from the office of Mr. Governor. The City of Lagos TV show will continue right after this timeout. Stay tuned. Lagos TV show. The show will continue in a moment.